Hey guys, my name is Nate and this is my brother Steven. Together we are Wingman Merch.
Thanks for checking out our video. We put these up about a month after we shoot them. If you'd like to catch any of these videos live, check out our Facebook page. The link is in the description.
So I just was giving them a rundown of saying hello to all the new people and kind of what this week is going to look like. But if you want to just say where you're at and what you're doing, I'm not exactly sure if I told the right information, so you can double check me on that.
I'm live in Las Vegas, ASD. I'll let Nathaniel take over. I just want to say hello to all the new people. I had a blast here at ASD. Still putting in some more work. We got a few more days. I have a ton more ideas for us and our art team, so I'm excited about that. But thank you everybody for being here. Go through the videos. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Love you, brother.
Love you too.
All right, take it easy.
Bye. All right, so like I said, that kind of worked out. We didn't really test that beforehand. I thought this would work, and it kind of did. So yeah, still trying to figure out all of the technical side of everything. But hopefully you guys could hear him. Yeah, so we wanted to try that out. Maybe in the future when we have guests on, we'll have to, test this a little bit better, so we can have that working. But yeah, back to what I was saying just about this week. It's going to be mostly art focused. So if you're not a designer, if you're not interested in art, I'm sorry. You can come back next week when Steven will be here, and he'll be able to we'll be able to talk more about other things like managing your account and keywords. I know that was a big thing. Another cool thing about having you guys answer those questions is I actually did go through and read them all. So I know what you guys are asking for as far as help and kind of where you're at. So we can make sure that we're answering you guys' questions, bringing you guys the kind of content just from like reading through all you guys' questions. I think we have like 9 video ideas, probably even more than that if we really break those down. So lots of really good ideas, lots of really good questions that we're excited to answer. Like I said, this week is mostly just going to be on art. It's also cool being here in South Carolina where the scenery is much more beautiful than Florida. Florida is pretty flat and boring. I absolutely love it there, and I love the beach and I love the warm weather. But just being in a more scenic place makes me feel a bit more artistic and wanting to create more. So I'm definitely feeling the creation vibes, and I've been doing a lot more graphics just for my own account and stuff like that. So I'm excited to talk about that. Glad that you guys were able to refresh the page and get back in here. So yeah, if you guys have questions, you can start answering them now. I'm gonna go over a few questions that we had in the group. If I can pull those up smoothly, hopefully. I know the one that was asked on this actual event page, if I can pull that up, I'll tell you who it was and give them credit, but it was basically asking a bunch of questions about design and just like the colors and shading and a bunch of different things. Let me try and pull it up so I'm not just quoting him from memory. Here we go. All right. Oh, Thomas, yeah, he found us from YouTube, which was awesome. Are there certain colors that print better? He asked a bunch of questions, but I'm going to answer them all in bulk, just because to get this nitty gritty, it doesn't make sense, and I'll explain why. Everyone's computer screen is slightly different, so what you're designing on your computer screen, like as far as the colors, it's not going to look exactly the way that it gets printed. To get a little bit technical, there's CMYK and RGB, which are like the two like color families that you can use. RGB is used for a lot of screens because screens can be brighter and show a lot more vivid colors. And CMYK is used for like your printer at home and for the printers that Amazon's using, the DTG machines that they're using to print off the t-shirts. So if you want a more exact match color, then you should be designing in CMYK, but it also depends on the screen that you're using. You can buy like little things to make sure that your screen is like color correct and all this. So that's why the solution that I did, and then I suggest anyone who has a lot more questions about that, like as far as the hue difference and the difference in colors and fading and all that stuff. I created a t-shirt, the same t-shirt that they actually use when they're first setting up a DTG machine to like fact check that it's printing properly. It's the first t-shirt that I sold some of because I posted it in Chris Green's group, just because my background has been in screen printing. So I knew like, oh, I can make this one shirt and some other like artists might find this usable, and they did, which was awesome. So I will post, oh, I should actually be able to do that live here. I can post the link to the shirt that I'm talking about. And it's basically just, the front is the CMYK colors, so I'll know like how vivid they are when they get printed. And then a little rainbow at the top so I can see all the different colors. And then the back is a bunch of colors with the CMYK codes next to them. So I know exactly what color is going to look like when it's printed out. And then I offered in a few different shirts. I suggest black, again, because that's the most popular color shirt that's sold. And also, again, to get a little technical on you guys, to print on black and to get the right color, sometimes they have to put a white base down underneath it before they print that color. So black is kind of the hardest color shirt or garment that they can print on. So I will copy and paste this in the chat right now. And then if you guys miss it or don't see it, feel free to contact me and I can send you the link. If you don't like my shirt, whatever reason, like this is really just an example. I don't care if you guys buy the shirt. I think it's awesome if you do and you can learn something from it. But everything froze for me. Try refreshing the page. Yeah, sorry. I think when Steven jumped off, something happened to the stream, so you guys had to refresh. Sorry about that. So yeah, I posted that shirt in the chat. If you guys don't want to buy my shirt and sponsor what I'm doing, I think I only make like $1 off of this because it's a front and back shirt. But I highly suggest you guys make something like this for yourself if you do want to take design a little bit more seriously. Something else that I did was put like a little red line so I could see, you know, the maximum print distance on the front and back. So just a little thing that I put together from my experience of selling at a print shop and knowing kind of what these DTG machines use when they're first getting set up. And I did make some sales on this way back when, but I haven't promoted this or put this anywhere since. But yeah, if you guys have like super specific questions, I think the best thing to do is just to put a bunch of your questions on a shirt and buy that shirt so you know exactly what you're getting at. Like I said, I can answer all these questions, how they affect me and my computer screen, but everyone's going to be a bit different. So I just suggest doing that. Yeah, I would not wear this shirt in public. Some people think it's cool, and some people have and taken pictures and sent me pictures of them wearing in public, which more power to you, but I think it's a little weird. Just something random that came to mind looking at that shirt again. Yeah. Another like interesting thing you can do is if you just Google search, I'm not quite sure I could share. Oh, I can do the same thing. So I'm putting a chart of RGB versus CMYK in the chat as well. And you guys can kind of see that just the RGB stuff is way more vivid and bright, and CMYK is a little bit more dull. That's just because, like I said, an actual computer screen has like light pushing through those colors, so they're a lot more vivid. And then when they get printed out, colors that are printed on a garment or a paper or whatever, they don't have that light coming through the back, so they're a little bit more dull. So that's just a little interesting chart that I've shared with people too, to kind of make them understand what they're looking at and what those like two color families really mean. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy like super nerdy art talk. It's what I enjoy. It's what I try to do as much as possible. So if you guys have any questions like that, feel free to ask them this week, and I'll get them all answered. The Wednesday video, I'm hoping it will be some cool ideas on how to come up with original content. I saw someone else talk about this. Michael Essex gave a talk on it, and I was like, oh, that's a really cool idea. I do it slightly differently, so I wanted to share with you guys my way of doing it. So I think that's what Wednesday's video is going to be on, unless I get some cooler suggestions. than that. If you guys want to know like tools of how to do or how to like get artwork done versus like starting to do it yourself, all that kind of stuff, we created a Trello board about 2 weeks ago. I think we were almost done with it. And then we finally finished it, had some people in the group test it, let us know what they thought. We got thumbs up from them, so I should have that available for you guys tomorrow. And basically what that Trello board is just like step by step on how we do everything, like as far as starting out, kind of like a tier 10 strategy for everything. So the way that we did art for free at the beginning, how we did our listings at the beginning, and how we were doing our research at the beginning. So that kind of covers all like the basic questions that we get asked a lot, and just things that we think will be useful for you guys, like an over the shoulder of like us actually going through a listing and showing you each step of the way. So if you have any questions about, like, we cover pricing, we cover titles and brand names, and even keep the bullet points and how we're doing our bullet points and stuff like that. So all the information, it took us a few days to put all that together and really iron that out. But I'm really proud of that. I know Steven's really proud of that too. We were excited to get all that information out and in one place. It's kind of weird that we're doing it on a Trello board, but we had the idea to make it like also a little process that you can work through as you're doing it for the first couple times, so you can keep like your artwork and your keywords and your title and all that stuff together as you move it through our little system. We might move that content somewhere else. Like in addition, we won't take away this Trello board. So I made the landing page, and I just have to add like a one quick video. So that might even be up tonight, but most likely tomorrow I'll put that out. So everybody can see it. So even if you're at, tier 2000, I know I have some higher tier people in this group. It's probably still worth looking at just to see our process, because you guys can learn from looking at everyone's process from doing this. So that's cool, and we're excited to put that out there. All you have to do is enter in your email, and then it sends that link through your email. So that will be, like I said, good to go on Tuesday. Let's see if there's any other questions that I wrote down that popped out to me this week. I'm so excited this week to just answer questions, because we're getting way more interaction just because of so many more people in here. So like I said, so happy to have you guys in here asking and answering a lot of questions. That's really cool. Like I said, I wanted to build a community that I can enjoy and get to meet all of you guys and talk to you guys. So keywords are my kryptonite. Yeah, it can be really confusing. Thank God I have my brother, because I'm just a designer. That's all my background was in, so I didn't understand Amazon as a platform or keywords or anything. I think I got lucky with some designs that I put up early on. And when Steven started seeing that I was making some money from merch, he was like, oh, let me take a look at that. And so he dug into it and told me I was doing everything wrong as far as the keyword and listing side of it went. So he's been really able to dig into it and kind of maximize our learning that we're doing for listing and keywords. So hopefully you guys have watched some videos in the past, and hopefully the Trello board also helps you guys out. One thing that I did have a question for you guys. I asked a question a couple of weeks ago. I think it was March 1st that I put up a poll asking the best way to contact you guys, and you guys all said Facebook Messenger. Something unfortunate that I just realized is this page is set up as a group. We did it that way because we wanted to keep this private, because again, I want to kind of control who's in my community. But because it's a group, I can't use one of those Facebook bots to send out mass messages or be set up live calls before they happen. So if you guys can think of any solutions or know of any solutions of how I can send out individual messages to everyone, because I don't want to have a giant group chat and that be blowing up everyone's phone. I'm in a few and I absolutely hate them, so I don't want to do that for this group. So if you guys can think of any way that I could send out a bunch of Facebook messages besides the obvious of just manually going through, which was an option 2 weeks ago when we had 30 people, but now that we have 300, I'm not going to sit down for like 3 hours and send out messages to everyone. Love you guys, but not going to spend the time doing that. So if anyone can think of a way, set up as a page. Yeah, if I set up a page though, it can't be private. And some of this content that we're going to be putting out, our idea kind of for this group is for it to be like our testing ground. So just like the nonprofit workshop, I guess is the name that we were calling it. That's really content that's meant for someone else's group. That's going to be paid for that group. We just wanted to put it here so we can kind of iron out me and Steven working on it, and like we kind of thought that idea was cool, like show you guys content before it goes up to other pages. So if this is a page and it's a public thing, then we wouldn't feel comfortable putting up all that content. So we'll see. Also, like my art group, like that's a super unofficial thing that I'm just kind of let you guys use because it's my art team. It's just my VAs, like it's nothing special. I haven't set it up as anything crazy. It's just I'm at the point where missing 10, 20 designs every day doesn't matter. So if you guys are asking for designs, I can definitely help you out with that. So I want to be able to do a little bit more unofficial things like that in this group. And again, if it's public, I wouldn't feel so so strongly about doing some of those things, like being able to control who's in this group, knowing that you guys are all really just trying to learn about merch and help each other out. Makes me feel more confident in doing things like that. Jen talked about the pre-merge Chrome extension. I've talked about that in this group too. If you guys have not checked it out, I definitely suggest you guys check out that extension. I can just Google search it real quick for you guys so that you have it. I've actually talked to the team that puts this together, and they're really good guys. Merch, sorry, I cannot talk and type at the same time. Basically what it does is just gives you an overview and puts like all the information you need right at the beginning when you log into your merch account, so you don't have to click through like manage and analyze and all that stuff. And they're constantly updating it. They're really good about, you know, getting back with you. I've given them a few ideas that they've actually implemented and are currently working on, so that's really cool to see. I like working with these guys. It's free, so there's no, like, I don't get paid if you guys use it or anything like that. But I'm posting that in the chat now as well. I'm a really big fan of that. That's probably the only merch-specific extension that I use. I've had a lot of them, and I've gone away from using a lot of them because either they break because of how quickly Amazon changes up, or I just don't find them as useful. But definitely Pretty Merch has been installed pretty much since like the second or third month I started doing merch till now. I'm a really big fan of that program. Reading some of these questions. Other print-on-demand services somebody asked about. I answered this, but again, I'll just say it out loud here. Redbubble, in my opinion, is the easiest one to use. The actual listing process is a little bit different. It's actually much different than Amazon, but it's fairly quick compared to other print-on-demands, and they have a good amount of traffic kind of for everything. So there are other print-on-demands that are good for, like, if you're, you know, super focused on creating super detailed art, then you probably want to use a different print-on-demand service that I can't even think of off the top of my head. Or if you do like only fan art, there's print-on-demand services for that. But as far as just like a well-rounded another print-on-demand service that has a lot of traffic, I definitely think Redbubble is worth your time. And Etsy. I've been talking to some higher tier sellers on Amazon and seeing what they're doing, and a lot of them are moving to Etsy. It's a really good platform to learn, and you have to do like some customer service and stuff, so learning how to handle all that is really good. And I think a lot of us, like, the end goal for a lot of merch sellers is to have our own Etsy shop. So we kind of use, you know, Amazon merch and other print-on-demands to find the niches that we fit into, and that we can create like a few strong brands around. and then we'll take those brands and move them to Shopify stores. So learning how to do Etsy is like one step closer to a Shopify store. So that is something that is on my list of things to do. When I actually get around to doing it, I'm not sure. Hopefully, I can just hire another VA to kind of head up that project, because outsourcing is so much easier than trying to figure all that stuff out for yourself. But I've got to figure all that out. So right now I just have a good amount of my shirts listed on a Redbubble across a few different accounts because, again, copycat reasons. You don't want people seeing like what you're doing in one brand and then just copying all of that. It's a little bit unfortunate. We've had that happen to us before. It definitely slows down sales. So, but if you guys want to know more about that, you can check out the Trello board. Shameless plug. Nicholas says they're adding an iPhone app. I'm assuming you're talking about Pretty Merch. Yeah, I think I've used it before, but pretty much all of the apps that help out with merch on your phone, whether it's Android or Apple, are annoying to me just because it like sends you back to your internet browser to log in with Amazon, because of the way Amazon's API works right now. The only way to log into your account is through their actual homepage. So I've downloaded some of that stuff and I've used the beta for quite a few merch apps. But I don't like any of them just because every time you log into the app, it sends you to your internet browser, and then if it's going to do that, I might as well just look at it on my internet browser anyways. So I haven't found any app for merch super helpful. It is important to remember that Amazon's only been doing this for like 2 going on 3 years now. So there's not a ton of I was going to say service. I guess there's not a ton of services for Amazon merch quite yet, and there's definitely not a lot that are like solid. Just like my art form, like that stuff can break pretty easily, even for people who seem to have it together. Just because Amazon's constantly changing stuff. If you guys have been selling since Christmas, you know that things just constantly change, and it's not always for the better. Amazon this Christmas put on that huge freeze again, and even have been unlisting shirts. I can't think of the keyword term. If Steven was here, he could tell me. They've basically been hiding some shirts after the freeze is up still, just because of all the stuff they're trying to do behind the scenes. We've been working on solutions for how to fix that, and we think we have one now. We've talked to a few other merch sellers with a lot of shirts up who have been trying to do the same stuff. And actually, I can't remember who asked us to look at a Chrome extension. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. But that actually helped us understand what Amazon was doing. So I think Steven did part 1 of that video, and I think I was on there just asking questions like an idiot. But I think when he does part 2 of that, hopefully when he gets home from ASD, he'll be able to explain kind of what Amazon's been doing and why doing what we're doing kind of fixes that. And not to be so cryptic about that, just like changing your listing. So if you had a listing that was selling really well beforehand, and just changing either the price of the title or something, we can't like prove that it's helping, but there's been a few listings that have been selling again after we're doing that. So we just want to find a more concrete way of saying like, okay, this is actually helping, instead of just like throwing out theories. But that's me throwing out a theory for you guys. So yeah, when we have more proof of that working, we'll put out like a official video, as official as this group can be, just talking about it and letting you guys know what's going on. Yeah, throttling. Thank you, Stephanie. Yeah, so they were throttling some of those listings. Again, I'm a designer. This is not my background at all. I kind of got lucky to start, and now I'm using my partnering skills really to make my account and other accounts take off. But what we are doing as far as keywords and stuff like that is definitely working. And we're starting to see sales pick back up, thankfully. So this month's been much better than January, February for us. Randy asked a question: while practicing finding landing pages, I noticed some of the top t-shirts are text only. In your experience, do you find that t-shirts with some type of graphic does better? So as far as sales, it doesn't seem to make a huge difference. You want to think about it from the Amazon customer point of view. So they're not necessarily people looking for like super good looking graphic design. They're mostly just buying off of emotional like impact that a shirt has on them. So if a shirt says something that they can relate to and it's in bold white text and they can see it really easy on their phone, then they're probably just going to buy that because of the emotion that it goes along with it. They're like, oh, that's funny. Let me buy this $20 shirt and not wear it or wear it once because it's funny and then you realize it's kind of weird. But from my background of selling online, again, having copycats is something I'm aware of. It's not something that I like worry about. And when I see people stealing my designs, I don't like go after them just because it's not worth my time. Like I can make 200 designs by the time that I hear anything back from like a legal team or Amazon about them stealing my design, so it's whatever. So my thought is always like I want to protect myself, so I don't do a ton of just like text-based t-shirts just for the simple fact of it's a little bit harder to copy if I put some graphical element in there. But as far as sales, I don't know how much that matters. If you have something witty that you can put on a t-shirt, I think it's going to do fine either way. So the reason I'm saying that is because like if you can only do text designs, like don't let that stop you. Like you can use a lot of apps and software to just put up text t-shirts. So if that's like what's stopping you from putting up a ton of t-shirts, like don't like just put up a bunch of text t-shirts. And then when you see people copying you, then you can put in the time to learn how to put graphics with that. I buy a lot of like graphical elements, so I even like say unicorn or cat. Those are two pretty big niches. I have like just some base images that I've bought to save myself time, and then I'll just use that same image and put different text around it, and like change the color of the image or slightly modify it or whatever. Just so I can make a bunch of different graphics in that same niche. I was talking to someone that I'm hoping to have on in the future on this little show, Merch Monday, and she was basically saying that she is her own like worst copycat. So if she makes a design and she sees it sells, she'll instantly make like 50 different ones and put them in the same landing zone. That way, sorry, I'm trying to answer questions and talk at the same time. That way, like people see, like, oh, this design's been done a ton of times. Like, I don't want to copy this as well. So I thought that was really funny and smart. And I've learned that lesson in the past from doing trends. We've made shirts for trends, and then like, oh, if we just slightly, changed up the saying or changed up the color, we could have like completely owned this landing page and made sure we got all of these sales. So that's something to think about too. If you guys are at a high enough tier to take advantage of that little tip. Just be your own worst copycat, and you can even put them under different like brands and use slightly different titles and stuff to like make it seem like a ton of other sellers are on there, when really it's just you completely owning that page. We've done that a few times with newer trends, and it's really funny to see how much that does affect people. If you just put up a ton of graphics, then other people don't want to copy the idea because they think it's already been done so much. So that's pretty funny. What's your view on Pixabay and using some of their graphics? As long as you can buy art from a ton of different websites out there, you have to check all the copyright laws on all that stuff. Some of those websites don't allow you to use their graphics for resale. Yeah, you like that, Stephanie. So you definitely have to check that. The one that I was using before was Adobe whatever their art thing is called. I can't remember the name of it. They basically have like a bunch of stock images that you can buy, but unfortunately with using that you can't actually resell those graphics on apparel, which is like something that they say. So I don't use Adobe anymore. I have a bunch of like emails sent to my email address of those places. I wish I could remember any of them. Next time I get one of those emails, I'll share it with you guys. But like for Christmas, instead of asking my VAs to do a bunch of, you know, like Santa Claus and reindeer and stuff, I just bought a package from one of those sites, and it was on like some super discount for like Black Friday or something. And then I just used all those graphical images inside of the designs that I'm doing. It saves everyone time and hassle, and when you're trying to pump out that many shirts, like being creative can kind of be a drag. So that is something. Oh, I can pin these comments. Sorry, ADD. That is something that I do. Again, sorry I don't have a firm example to show you guys, but when you're using those websites, just make sure that they are allowing you to use those graphics for resale. And there might be different like price points, so you might have to buy a slightly different one.